I'm Rick Gray, Professor of Leadership in Christian Ministries. Not long after my wife and I were married, purchased our first home in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I had just discovered a black gospel radio station in Indianapolis, WTLC. And the Sunday afternoon radio host was Al the Bishop Hobbs. I was just growing into gospel music, brand new to it. And I remember one Sunday afternoon, there was a storm of all storms raging outside of our house. Thunder, lightning. If you've been in one of those Indiana thunderstorms like that, then you understand what I'm talking about. Kind of storm that would rattle the windows like when the thunder hit. And my wife and I had darkened the room that the radio was in, that the receiver was in, and it was the only light in the room shining out. And because it was Sunday afternoon, I tuned the radio to WTLC because I wanted to listen to Al the Bishop Hobbs and his gospel radio hour. Imagine that storm raging outside, the dark room that we're sitting in, the lightning flashing, the thunder rolling, Al's voice introducing a song by the Mighty Clouds of Joy. And the song was entitled, "I've Been in the Storm Too Long." I sat there in front of the receiver, mesmerized as I listened to the Mighty Clouds of Joy then sing this song. And as they're singing this song, I begin in my heart's eye to visualize Simon of Cyrene. And I don't know why I've been focusing on Simon of Cyrene, but I was focusing on him as the song is playing. And I had learned enough about Simon to begin to believe that he was coming in from the fields, if you would, about the time that Jesus was walking down the Via Dolorosa. And as Simon is observing this mass crowd with all the noise they're making and the Roman soldiers forcing Christ along the road, I imagine that Simon, like most there, knew something about Jesus. And I imagine in my heart's eye that Simon believed that he was who he said he was. He was the Messiah. So I'm picturing Simon running alongside of this, behind the crowd, running alongside as Jesus is making his way down the Via Dolorosa, bearing his cross. Tradition tells us that Christ fell 3 times beneath the load of the cross. And as I'm listening to "I've Been in the Storm Too Long" playing on the radio, all of a sudden the singer proclaims, "I need a little more time to pray." And I flash on Simon of Cyrene, following Christ down the Via Dolorosa, and in his heart he's crying out to Christ, "I need a little more time to pray." And Christ, being Christ, senses this need in Simon, and he falls beneath the load. But Christ gets back up and he walks a little bit further. And as he's moving along a little bit farther again, Simon in his heart is crying out, I need a little more time to pray. He gets back up, and the soldiers are edging him on. The crowd is edging him on, but in my mind's eye, I am focusing on Christ hearing only Simon's heart plea. And as he's listening to Simon's heart plea for a third time, he hears Simon call out, I need a little more time to pray. If you listen to that song, you will hear within that song, I've been in the storm too long, you will hear within that song 3 major movements like that. And as the storm is raging outside of our home, and the lightning is flashing, and the thunder is rolling, I'm hearing in my heart's eye Simon crying out to the Lord, I need a little more time to pray. And in response to Simon's request, Christ falls beneath the load. And the third time that he falls beneath the load, he doesn't get back up. This time, we're told that the soldiers pull Simon from that crowd to help lift the beam up off of the smitten Lord of the world. And as Simon is lifting that beam up off of the Lord, they make eye contact because the Lord wants Simon to know that he's heard his cry. As Simon is lifting that beam up off of the Lord and they're making eye contact, Simon becomes aware that he's got his fingers now in the blood of the Savior of the world that's been smeared on that beam. And as he's hoisting that beam up onto his own shoulders, Simon is aware that something is happening inside of him. And as Rick Gray becomes aware of that beam on his shoulder, and Christ holding onto his shoulder for support, and the holy blood that's on his hands and fingers, he's becoming aware that this blood, this holy blood, it's penetrating, and each molecule by molecule, and corpuscle by corpuscle, this blood is beginning a transformation. And as this blood is beginning a transformation within Rick Gray, he begins to realize he's not the same anymore. You see, I believe it's impossible for a human being to come into contact with holy blood and not be transformed by it. And like Simon, if you've been beneath the load of that cross, okay, and you've been in contact with holy blood, then a transformation began within you, corpuscle by corpuscle, molecule by molecule. And before that blood is done, it has so penetrated you that you cannot be the same anymore. You've been elevated to a kingdom that's not of this world. And as you grow into the realization that you are no longer of this world, and that something mysterious, almost unexplainable, magical is happening within you, you begin to understand that somehow that blood is making you so different that the systems of this world and the ocracies of this planet and all of those things begin to pale in comparison to what's happening within you. You are no longer a part of this world. Even though you're still in this world, you're still walking in this world, you've been elevated to a kingdom that's not of this world. And there's a work that's going on within you. And only you can inhibit that work from fully changing and transforming you into the creature that you were always intended to be by Yah, the Holy Father. Let me encourage you to recognize what happened to you when you knelt beneath the cross of Christ and holy blood splattered on you. It began a change process that's made you different. Stop fighting the change that's going on. Stop permitting the things of this world to keep you back and hold you back from that which God has for you. It's really important that you understand. You've been bought with a price now, and you're no longer your own. So, beloved, let me encourage you simply to grow. Grow in the Christ who sacrificed himself to redeem you, to recover you, and to make you brand new. The Lord be with you.